Hey guys, give me just a minute here. I'm still setting up a couple things here in the background. Now, I believe we were in the process of setting up a tree farm. Seem to recall that's where we left things, wasn't it? Tree farm and a magma workstation that I just realized that minecarts stack, and now I've got to work out a way to deal with that. So we may get to redo all the magma planning too. That'll be fun. Alright, so below that is solid, so we could do it that way. And this floor is solid, so we could... Yes, that would in fact theoretically work. It's really fucking weird, but it would work. However, to make that work, there's going to be some more excavation. Okay, so here's the problem we've run into. Okay, just for you who are tuning in here, who didn't get to catch it last night. We set up this small area to put minecarts into with the intent that we would fill that square with magma and thereby fill the minecarts, close the magma off, let the magma out to evaporate, take the magma-filled minecarts and do our wicked, wicked things with them. However, what we've really found out is that minecarts stack when you dump them in a hole. So this first minecart is sitting right here, and all the other minecarts we dumped are on top of him in one square. And it turns out that it's not necessarily expected behavior, but it is common behavior. That is to say, in any case where you use minecarts and you drop them in a hole, they first one will stack, that is to say, you'll have one on top of another, and all of the minecarts after the first one will instead be positioned in a quantum stockpile, suspended in midair above the original minecart. So I'm looking at this, and it looks like the way we would have to get around this is to trench out one hole here, and then provide another drain over here to get rid of the magma in the lower level area, the same way we have in the upper level area. And then we can dump our minecarts in here like we originally intended to. The first minecart will fall all the way to the bottom, and all of the other minecarts will quantum stockpile right here. The problem is that when that happens, that's all fine and good, but once I remove that minecart from the bottom of the stack, all the other minecarts fall on the hauler and will crush him. So that's not going to work either. I'm starting to think I just stockpile them in an area, forbid the stockpile, forbid all the, group selected, forbid them, and then flood it that way. That way I get them to position the minecarts for me, and I don't have to deal with the uh, dumping problem that we're now running into because of the stacking. Still doable, not as much fun. Means that this stuff here is not going to work as advertised. So we'll redo it a little, or a lot, or both. We have to be careful now because, of course, we've got magma in the system now, so we have to be cautious about how we let the magma in, as it were. What we will do is we will use this area as our stockpile. Use this area as our stockpile. Pump the magma in, pump the magma out, let it evaporate. It'll take longer, unfortunately, than what I had in mind, but I don't see a way around the problem where the minecarts stack, because the original thought was we could just dump them all in a hole and let the magma take care of the rest for us. As it turns out, you can't get away with that, so we got to adapt, right? That's how we do all in all our forts, right? We start off with a plan, and then we adapt. So this plan necessitates us doing nothing with all of these bridges except this one. We got to get rid of him. He's useless to us. He does no good for us. We can then expand this room slightly, create the whole thing as one stockpile with nothing allowed, set it to take minecarts made of iron, since it's the only minecarts we want for this purpose, load all the minecarts up on this stockpile, and then I can let the magma through to fill them. Now, we still have to, at that point, dig out a drainage chamber, which we don't have yet. So, a little more work needs to be done here. And we are almost at 4 full levels of Z on the reservoir. That's 1, 2, 3 full, and 1 almost there. Everything's at 6 except for a few 7s. The aquifer continues to fill our tree farm flooding reservoir apace. And once that's good and full, we are going to unleash the torrent. That will flood down this into the secondary reservoir, which, as we demonstrated, was already sufficient to fill off just the river input without any, even with some of the flow being restricted by virtue of allowing it to flood into the existing tree farm. We still were going to be able to fill this reservoir, which is a good thing. What that means for us is once we get this system completely filled properly, we can open it up, and the drainage, the visible drainage, instead of being in this area, should appear on the level of the river at the bottom, but only within this section here. Because all of this will be filled up to this point, 7 of 7, all the way through the system. So when we open this up, this is going to be the only place with actual spread at that time. Everything else is going to have been full all the way up. So the theory is that we can keep the visible aspects of our water loss, that is to say, water levels below 7 of 7, out of our nature preserve, if I can do it. I don't know that I can do it. We're going to try. Now, I do have to check to make sure we didn't have ourselves an unexpected visitor somewhere here that I left off on a cliffhanger and then forgot about. So we're good here. I haven't forgotten about a forgotten beast or a giant or a cyclops or a marsh titan rampaging across the surface of my fort here. So that's all taken care of. We're really still just kind of waiting on the magma and tree farm to finish. So let's get this redesigned so we can properly deal with this. If we dig that out, we're still going to need a drainage area below it. Yeah, I remember where my levers are, so we're good there. That'll drop this bridge and this bridge. We can disassemble this bridge, set up our stockpile, and set up our drain. And then everything else should be able to be retained as is, meaning we don't need to change anything else. That should be a stone, right? Yeah, some gabbro. We're just going to hide it because he's annoying right where he's All right. So now we gotta wait for somebody to come down here and pull the levers so we can access the stuff we need to access. Holy cow. The build that would not die.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
I hope everybody out there in Viewerland has had a better day than I have.
I do think I can do this.
Go hug your loved ones.
I'm going to name this something bizarre and unworldly. Something that no one else would name it. Ha ha.
Humph. Well, that's not going to work like I anticipated then. Okay, fine. Got to do this a little differently than I had originally. Sorry. Cut it one shorter than I should have. Mistakes. Everywhere mistakes. It's not uncommon in Dwarf Fortress. The question is not whether you make mistakes. The question is, can you redesign it to make it work?
I can't do it.
Dancing. Nice. Not as pretty as the circular dancing, but I'll take it. All of these bolts that have missed the target in prior training sessions can be group reclaimed en masse at one go to put them back in our stockpile. Someone will come along and pick them up momentarily, but we don't have to worry about it. And the sixes continue to decrease on floor 4. So then there's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, way more than I needed. Way more than I needed. Okay. Way. I wanted to be absolutely sure we weren't going to have a problem with evaporation when we tried to flood that area, wasn't I? I was damn sure to over-engineer the reservoir capacity is what I thought. Guess we'll find out if it works. Elves arriving to trade. Okay, let's let them come on in. No new petitions for guild halls, and of course, anybody who isn't a guild hall is just getting ignored. Well, here's the problem, Valdemar. Here's the problem we're going to run into with the mine carts, anyway. Oh, wait, you mean the bolts? You can. The problem you run into with bolts is that when bolts are fired, spent ammunition is automatically forbidden. So the issue isn't so much getting the dwarves to automatically pick them up, it's that in order to make the dwarves automatically pick them up, I have to eliminate automatic forbidding of items that are dropped by our dwarves and others on the surface during a siege. Now, normally, I leave everything forbidden until I notice it and go clean it up, and there's a reason. First, it keeps all my dwarves from charging out right after that first break in a siege to go pilfer socks. It's possible that there may be some siege remnants left around, and I maybe canceled an alert too early. We don't want dwarves traipsing around somewhere they shouldn't just to pick stuff up. And I don't like dwarves deciding for themselves when they get to play on the surface. The world of Dwarf Fortress, generally speaking, is a lot more hostile than that of ours, even in the old Dark Ages period of time. The wolves really do eat people here. And well, frankly, the wolves aren't even the worst of the threats, you know, when you start to talk about goblins and necromancers that could conceivably invade your fortress. So, I could make that completely automated. And the way you would make that completely automated if you wanted to do so is set up a stockpile along each one of these trenches. In fact, you can set the whole thing up as one big stockpile. It'll just divide itself up automatically. Set it to house bolts, but take from only from links and give it no links. That means it doesn't take from anywhere. And then set it up to give back to your bolt stockpile, and the bolts will miss the target, hit the stockpile, immediately not be forbidden, because you're going to have to disable that no matter what you do. The unforbidden bolt is now in a stockpile that has a link, so it's now somebody's going to come along and pick that bolt up and move it to the destination stockpile. That will work. It's perfectly valid. But the key sticky point there is I have to disable auto-forbidding. And I'm really, really loath to disable auto-forbidding. This guy that died way over here and left us that scepter, my dwarves would have been rushing out to go get his scepter. And I don't really think I want my dwarves rushing all the way to the map edge to pick up goodies. It's not necessarily a bad idea, it's just a little more hazardous than my risk tolerance is willing to allow me to accept. No, I've had, not on stream, but in prior personal forts, I've had a stockpile below there, and it is perfectly valid. It works exactly as you'd imagine. Bolts hit the stockpile, they get moved away, everything's great. But you have to be much more stringent about access control, because a corpse you didn't notice on the far side of the map with an unattended, worn pigtail sock suddenly becomes the most exciting thing to your dwarves about 2 seconds before the goblin siege arrives. I don't think there is one, nor have I ever heard Tony discuss having an AI storyteller, a la RimWorld, if you will, or Left 4 Dead's AI level adjustment engine, where it modifies things on the fly for you to make it more exciting. I don't think Dwarf Fortress has something that intentionally creates drama, but I don't really think it needs to, because it's astounding how often standard, banal, everyday events like a dwarf going to pick up a sock suddenly become life or death because a siege or a goblin or something shows up at the wrong moment. I'm actually allowing the elves to come in the back door. It's shorter for them to come in the back door and reach the depot than it is to take the wagon path. So in non-siege situations, my merchants will actually send their pack animals down the staircase while the wagons make the long route. Just the way it works. You're going to tell me I've used up all the rock salt blocks. I'm going to go all noble here for a minute and demand that rock salt, issue a mandate for rock salt blocks. Nah, I'm just kidding. I really don't care. I'm just going to use slate. But for those of you who are worried about ensuring a particular appearance of your fortress, allow me to plug the humble Gabbro once again, which shows up in just about every biome I think I've ever embarked in. Always has the same nice, deep but not black, gray color, and it's magma safe. Gabbro, ask for it by name, accept no substitutes. Now, you know, I was going to dig a little door there. What was I doing that for? Oh, right, mining bituminous coal. That's what that's for. Heck and wait. Bins, bins, bins. I need more bins. And I'd have it look to see if you're out there, Clinton, but that's one of the reasons why I always embark with a carpenter. The need for bins early on to keep a fortress organized in those early days never really goes away. You could probably substitute zinc bins if you brought enough sphalerite with you. But not sure what else you'd have to do to make that work.
It won't work. It won't work.
She is just a really bitter person. This one just feels guilty about having been injured. Friends, family, martial arts.
No. I said no.
Just too many dead bodies at once for him. Okay. Oh, we're finally done here. This is the other thing I wanted to do. Oh, we're waiting on our smoothers to come along, aren't we? Yep, we are. Now, I gotta have them smooth that area for me first. Aha! His objections are dead bodies and things I can't fix. This one's kind of upset because they spent most of their time recovering from an injury recently and haven't had a chance to do some of the things they want to do. They should recover on their own without me touching them. And Momo's has kind of been our problem child all along.
No. I said no.
You know, it occurs to me we're doing this wrong. We want the scholar in the public library, where he can talk and negotiate, and maybe not. Let me think about that some more. They're still setting up. That means they brought me lots of stuff. That's good. Lots of stuff means I have things I can sell them and buy stuff. Did I ever? It does not appear that they have ever gotten started. Man, we need a magma workshop. Badly. If you were a clever monkey, not saying that I've ever done this or anything, you'd rig up a crushing drawbridge at the bottom of your refuse dump so that you dump the stuff in, flip a lever twice, and it's gone. Pretty sure that's another bin, and that looks like somebody dragging another pack animal to us. So they still haven't finished arriving yet. This is good. This is very good. It means they bring things that are heavy, like cages full of animals. I mean, this guy's taking a long time to get to the depot. Whatever his animal is hauling must be just
I won't do it.
heavy.
No, 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 no. No!
Well, at least they have kiwi cock in a cage. I think we already have a male bear, but let's try and get another one and see if we can get... Maybe they brought us a female last time and we get lucky, lucky, lucky. Because I'm not seeing a lot of, unless I missed it. I mean, there's a weasel, raven, barn owl, sparrow, the black bear I'm buying, another weasel, no toad. I want the ability to tell the elves, bring me bears and giant desert scorpions. Screw this weasel nonsense. Holding out on us. Now, there's another question I've been meaning to ask. When I buy hazelnuts, I'm always buying 5 at a time. I can't buy one hazelnut. When I buy plums, I could buy any number from 1 to 5. Sure, there's a reason for that, but I'm not sure what it is. And I really want to know who's cranking out these artifact strings that I keep buying here, because I'm going to keep picking them up if they keep selling them to us. Our Uli are going to be the baddest Uli. And I don't even have to add anything. They needed that divine metal material. Strings made of screaming mouths. Just to offset a handful of our throwaway crafts. I didn't even bring out the mugs. I just brought out the discs. I mean, just for amusement's sake, what is all of your stuff? All of his stuff is about 18 grand more than we already spent. Pretty sure that's trivial for us, but how do you tell the elves they've been outcompeted, that capitalism is over and they've lost? More importantly, how do you do it without telling them not to bring you large, predatory, war-trainable animals next time? So I'm curious, anybody out there ever had persimmon-based alcohol? Is that any good? Okay, take all their good stuff. Wasn't even... Psh. I could have bought their whole caravan with the contents of this one finished goods bin right here. That one bin right here. 53,000 dwarf bucks, whatever the hell's in it. Ah, because it's got an artifact sitting in it. Wouldn't want to sell them that. Need to get a museum ready. But even without an artifact, our weapons bin, just off normal items, was 60 grand. This finished goods bin is 5 grand on its own. And like I said, I didn't even bring out the... You know, there's 70k worth of non-artifact weapons. It'd be even worse if I was making prepared meals for sale. Some of the prepared meals you can create are absolutely just mind-bogglingly valuable, and they come in huge stacks. My wife's mind has been blown. We finally replace our 20-year-old washer and dryer with a new one. And she's downstairs minding her own business when the washer finishes up and plays a little tune to let her know that it's completed, and that has blown her mind, that the washer would play her music when it's done. I'm not sure why that should be the tipping point. You know, she's been married to me all these years, but somehow that is the thing that has finally pushed her over the edge. So we'll set up this area less this first strip as a stockpile. We have to leave this first strip out unless we want to have a weird chunk out of our stockpile. I guess we can, doesn't matter. We're not going to have enough mine carts to ever fill this stockpile no matter what we do. The whole point of this stockpile isn't to hold mine carts, it's actually just to house them long enough to be filled with magma. He's coming along to dump another minecart in the middle of that miasma stink from that peahen or peacock that died that got into the dumping cycle when we were doing this that I didn't worry about because we were going to fill this with magma, right? So it wasn't going to be important that the peacock was going to rot. Now, of course, we have to redo all of this and we got to wait for the thing to rot or else expose all these people to miasma. Or I guess I could theoretically redesignate the dumping areas, set this to dump, and have them haul it all the way back to the surface to dump it. Somehow that seems wrong, too. And so to actually make this work properly, I'm not even sure if we're going to be able to do what I originally intended. I think we may end up having an issue where we end up having to crush a hauler just to free up our minecarts, potentially. Because right now, they're kind of all sitting in this sort of Schrodinger's quantum space where they're all occupying one tile. And they're all sitting, effectively, on the same minecart. So imagine an inverse pyramid of minecarts, if you will. And I think because the rest of them are sitting over an open space, the only one that a hauler can actually access is the one at the bottom of the pyramid. And needless to say, you can imagine what happens in Dwarf Fortress when a hauler comes along and removes that bottom minecart from the inverse pyramid. Let's just say it don't end well. On a positive note, it wouldn't be beyond me to disable hauling for my entire core except the one person who is being problematic. I'm just saying. Some sacrifices for the fortress will have to be made, and it is appropriate that those who feel unfulfilled in their lives should be called upon to see, and this level's already over halfway full just the time we've been watching it. The level below it filled up, and then the next one started, and it's already over halfway. It almost feels like it's getting faster.
No.
It shouldn't be, realistically, because it's the rate of deposition that matters, but it feels like it's getting faster. Hey, did our renegade scholar finally give up the ghost and starve in there? Probably should check on him just to say, hi, we still see you. Yes, we know you're there. Hey, look, I think he drowned. He finally couldn't keep up. Aw, poor dude, he dead. Well, good news. Our river will be well fertilized. From time to time, the tree of academic research must be watered with the blood of failed researchers who wandered down a dark corridor, clearly marked, "This will kill you." put the garbage dump back up here. Make sure we don't have any more mine carts that are... I don't want to risk any more mine carts in the middle of this mess until I get it straightened out. So we'll tell the rest not to be dumped. That way, if I have to crush a hauler, I hopefully don't have to crush more than one. Only thing we allow in this stockpile are iron minecarts. That's it. Nothing else. Everything else is disallowed. The intent here is that the iron minecarts will be brought in, positioned here. They can be mass forbid so that nobody accidentally picks one up at any time until we're ready. We can fill them with magma en masse in one big sweep, pump the magma back out. Happy, happy. And I don't believe we'll actually care or need to care whether... I don't think the minecarts actually have to be in a full 7 of 7 to be filled. I suspect they'll get full before that. Maybe 4 of 7.
Oh, no way.
I'm curious what they do with all these minecarts, whether they will actually pick them up or not. I'm guessing no. I'm thinking that the first unlucky hauler who has to deal with that minecart is going to get squashed. And then I'm not sure what happens to the rest. Maybe only one of them drops, and that would be hilarious because then it's like a stack of minecarts where the second and higher minecart rearrange themselves so that one of them is always at the bottom. It's a conspiracy of minecarts, I tell you. And they have been minting those steel coins for us like we wanted. That's a glorious thing because we can use that to make lots of steel, especially once we get a magma forge up and running.
I can't do it. No, 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 no. No.
Man, the miners mine quickly enough to stay ahead of the advancing miasma cascade. Mining to get away from the stink of your decaying livestock. Pretty dwarfy. Actually, yeah, that was silly. No, I went one too far here. I should have only gone 10 deep, because the bridge can't be more than 10 by 10. So we'll just repurpose the local stone to fill in here.
Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work. No, 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 no. No. I can't do it.
Gotta be careful when you use the last item in a stone category like this, where I'm trying to make a wall out of rough gabbro. It's possible that somewhere on the far side of the map, 200 tiles away, there's a gabbro stone sitting there that I've never bothered to use and hasn't been picked up yet. And since the items go in terms of distance, if I just mass select them all, the last gabbro on the far side of the map is going to be included, even though I don't really want them to drag a stone 200 miles when I can have them drag a block shorter distance than that. So at that point, I want to make sure that I'm not creating even more work for the dwarves than I already have by doing this wrong in the first place. So the premise here is that once this wall is built and the bridge is built, we can let the magma in to cover this workshop space. It would also flood this way, of course, but once it's deep enough, once it's flooded deep enough in this area, we can flip this bridge on to smash over and over again the magma until it spreads out enough that it will evaporate. And then we can wait for it to evaporate, unfortunately. It occurs to me that if you really wanted to do this, probably the best way to do it is some form of striped bridge stockpile combination where, you know, you alternate single tile wide stockpiles, you know, 1 by n stockpiles with 1 by n bridges, such that when you pump the room full and start firing the bridges, roughly speaking, half the magma in the room is being crushed out of existence with each swing. So 2 or 3 swings in, you've already got your evaporation set up.
Oh, I won't do it.
That one may be a problem because they may refuse to move the... In fact, let's go ahead and fix that since this isn't getting built right now anyway. Let's make sure they're not going to cancel the jobs by virtue of not being able to put the stone that's occupying the space somewhere else.
No.
All this for magma minecarts. If I had known. It's still easier than the roller-based design I was thinking up in my head, though, where you'd have minecarts shot through a magma-filled trench to fill, and then run them over to a stop on the other side and collect them. This is still a simpler build than that if you do it right the first time.
Oh, I won't do it.
This is the guy that's bringing the block. And our first minecart has been delivered to the filling station.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
Well, I don't see any way other than to get this party started, so let's find out how much fun our hauler is going to have here. Because they're not going to collect the mine carts in the quantum stack above the existing one.
something else to torment you with. Oh.
That might work. Will it let me? I wonder. Will it let me build the minecart, build a floor under the minecarts in the quantum stockpile over empty space? Since they aren't sitting on the floor, do they occupy the tile? So many fun new things to learn when we screw with systems like this. So now it's a race to see whether the floor job will be taken up before somebody comes along and kicks the... Oh, somebody's got the minecart task now. It is on. In the interests of trying to save lives, we will detask that minecart momentarily and try to give them another chance. Okay, fine, I'll forbid it full time if you're really coming to pick it up. We'll see if we can't give somebody a chance to build that floor, and if it's going to get suspended, then we'll have to do it the other way around. But if this works, then we can safely extract all the minecarts. And I think that it did, in fact, work. Okay, so we'll forbid those for a moment to clear any tasks. He said, hopefully. Okay, let's... Huh. I wonder what they're tasked for. I mean, what with the being forbidden and all, they shouldn't be tasked for anything, right?
Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work.
I can't do it. I just can't.
Where are all my mine carts? So here's an interesting one for you. All of those mine carts are tasked. I have no idea what for, since they are literally impossible to be tasked if they are forbidden, and I've already tried forbidding them. There's a floor built under them now, but since they're tasked, I don't know that they'll ever be moved again. Because they got quantum stockpiled mid-dump, something has gone wrong with them. So I was looking to see if... Yeah, so it does search it the way I thought it did. Okay, good. Making sure my memory's not faulty on me here as I get older. The mine carts are listed as tasked, but there is no actual job in the task list that corresponds to anything related to mine carts that I can see. You know, if it's store item in bin, doesn't sub-search the stuff, though, so maybe it's just that they haven't gotten there yet. The stone stockpile is eating all our labor at the moment because of the ongoing craft blitz. Should see if they've worked through the stockpile yet. If they have, it's time to shut them back down. Yep, they're all good here. We'll just get rid of those rock crafts jobs. You guys have done a great job. Everybody's had a chance to claim something now. Stone will still eat a bunch of labor for a bit until we run out of stone, but they should start to move on now. I'm trying to see if I can get them to move those carts. What I probably need to do is increase the population cap on the fortress and just let a few more dwarves in to give us some more labor, some more hands. Unfortunately, we've got literally a half a page of kids still. Half a page of kids still, so... You know, we've got 157 people, and that means that roughly speaking, call it 37 kids, give or take. Something like. Probably not quite that far along, but... Dwarves continue to move steadily into the I'm happy range. Slowly but surely we're pilfering them out and they're slowly trickling upward. Okay, I'll bite. Now I'm wondering if they are considered to still be stacked inside that other minecart despite having the floor built under them. Not sure the floor will actually prevent them from collapsing through it either while we're on the subject, so this will be interesting. don't have enough nickel. Nickel, that's garnerite, or garnerite, or yeah. Garnierite? We may not have any on site, which is unfortunate because nickel is magma safe. But we can use iron, and iron we have plenty. Which reminds me, we can melt some of this stuff. Although, silver maces ain't bad now that I'm looking at that. Silver's a really heavy, dense metal, comparatively. If I had a mace squad, this would be a good weapon for them. Are they still here? No, they're gone. Good. I wanted to make sure I'm not actually stealing the merchant's shit because they left it on my doorstep again while I was setting up my stockpiles here. If there are no merchants, then all of these items are ours and we can go through them ruthlessly. Now, I'm not too worried about... The iron weapons are intended to be peasant weapons, by and large. I save steel for my militia, even though in the case of Warhammers it's probably less effective. I save steel for my militia, that way I know they're getting the best, if you will. Although again, like I said, for blunt weapons, iron may actually be a better choice. If all of this stuff is ours, then all of it needs to be put to use in the forges, in... You're not meltable, or I would melt you. That just basically means that there are goodies out there sitting around that have been dropped by previous visitors to our fortress. I'm not sure if this will tell me... Oh, nope, that's not what I want. Well, actually, that might tell me what I want. Hang on. Wow, okay, that can get impressive fast. Let's see. And tabs. Grouping. So now I only... Ooh. This is what I've been looking for. Oh, yes, that's yummy. Okay, Okay, so there are some worn items in inventory. Oh, that's just that's so lovely. And there are some seriously worn shit in inventory. Why are you guys wearing that shit? We've got all this other stuff, don't we? Let's go back to wear 0. Wow, and we just literally cannot. All the cloth bins are in jobs, so somebody's coming along to... Nobody's come along to move them yet is our problem here. So I'm curious if that means we still have them up here on the surface. If they're marked for a job, either someone... it may be that someone is like taking cloth out of them. I'm not sure exactly what that indicates. So I'm kind of looking through this stuff to see if maybe there's one up here that maybe has been designated for hauling. But I'm starting to think that the reality is it's not that they've been designated for hauling, it's that someone is using them in a job. That is to say, containers are locked when someone claims an item in them, because someone has the subtask, if you will, of opening that bin, and so therefore that bin is locked. Two people can't take something out of a bin at the same time. They have to take turns. So our bins in our enhanced view in the stocks screen with the grouping off indicates that several of the cloth bins are in jobs. That is to say, they have a job assigned to them. I suspect that in a lot of cases that means either somebody's putting something in it or taking something out of it. For example, the ammo bin is also in a job, and I have to assume that means either putting bolts in or taking bolts out. If we expand it, you're noticing it's only the bins, it's not the individual items that are marked.
It won't work. Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work. I can't do that there. It won't work. won't work. No, 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 no. No!
Sorry, kids. Iron buckets are now going to the top of the list. Well, that's actually a positive sign, I think. Yes. Yes, it is. I think that when they got rid of... I'm going to look see if they've done it already, but I'll bet they got rid of this guy down here. Yeah, when they did, they got rid of this guy down here. That freed up all the phantom task minecarts that were floating on that floor. And they suddenly got delivered, I think. I didn't watch it, but I'm betting that's what happened. Maybe not. Maybe they were tasked all along, but with the forbidding, that should have stopped them from being tasked.
I can do it. Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work. Why do you think I can do this? No.
Okay, we've got our minecart. They're building our minecart depot. They're building our bridge. Let's see. 2, 3, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20 is 10 tiles with one left over. If we want to go safe and have 6 of 7, then it's 3 per, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 tiles of magma, which is still a fair number for one go at this. And if we get some additional iron minecarts done here momentarily, then we can upgrade that number a bit. Because reality is this is just step 1. In addition to iron minecarts, we're going to need iron wheelbarrows, because if the wheelbarrows themselves are not magma safe, they will disintegrate. Which is okay, actually. I'm okay with using it as a way to get rid of them. If it's just heavy wear and it disintegrates, that's fine. It does mean that there'll be some hauling tasks that get created to move them around after that. And it might be more than one wheelbarrow that gets burned up. We'll see.
Oh, no way. I can't do that there. Oh, did you see what I did with this thing?
One more bucket, and then they'll run me off another run of minecarts. And after the minecarts, we'll clear them out and do wheelbarrows. We'll do some, say, gonna get at least 5 or 10 of those, so that we can get enough of them hauled.
Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work.
And there's the last bucket job to meet the mandate. Okay, and now we have our custom stockpile settings set for just the iron minecarts that we're going to want to move around. Now, the way this is going to work, let's go over this one more
No,
time
I
here.
can't do
Make
it.
sure we got everything, make sure we thought of everything.
No.
Measure twice, cut once, right?
I said no.
Magma will flow into this room, providing enough depth at some point to fill the minecarts. I'm not sure if that'll be immediately or not, but I know it needs to be more than 2 of 7 depth. How much more is not necessarily known, so we may have to get some dwarven science here that the wiki doesn't cover. It says it needs at least 3 of 7, it just doesn't know how much, so we can actually single step it as the magma flows in and see if we can't catch one of the minecarts moving from full to not full when a tile of magma washes over it, and then we can contribute to dwarven science. Live on stream, dwarven science for charity. How about that shit?
No.
Yeah, we're still waiting on, there's 26 bars they've got to put in here, and the architect is still doing his work here. He only has to trek 150 tiles every time he wants to bring a bar down, so 150 tiles back up to get the next one. This could take a minute. What are my engravers doing? Oh, the bedrooms. Right. That may take a minute. Since we don't have any massive engraving scheduled, let me look and see how much progress our junior engravers have made.
I can't do it. I just can't.
Moderate, but not great. Okay, so we need to let them run on.
I can't do that there. Sir, you can't do that there.
Now, this is not really to make these guys full-time engravers. I just want to get a bunch of smoothing done in a big hurry. So we're going for the parallelism approach.
Do that there.
Welcome aboard, Clinidev.
Do it. I can't do it. No.
Yeah, there's just a lot of surfaces to smooth down here, unfortunately. This might be a good job for everyone. Come to Iron Price, learn a new trade. be voluntarily mandated into the smoothing core. When I say the words smoothing core, though, I have to admit I'm envisioning some sort of bridge-crushing mechanism for invaders.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
Summer is here.
No, 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 no. No! Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no.
Now, with this being an everyone in the fortress job, we may get some progress on it. Again? I'm not even really mad about the amulets, or even the buckets for that matter. I can melt the buckets back down if they're not super high quality. The amulets are good because it gives our other dwarves a chance to pick something up and acquire a high quality item. You know, when all your friends are rocking weasel bone amulets and you stride in with the only iron amulet made in the fortress so far. Don't tell anybody, though. The market's going to crash very shortly here. Once I get my bridge up, we'll get it linked. We'll do this properly. Oh, no, we ain't dead. We're going to do some Dwarven science here on stream. See, I looked it up. It doesn't actually say how much magma has to be in a tile on the wiki in order to fill a minecart. It says it must be more than 2 of 7, and it does not have to be 7, and they don't think it has to be 7 of 7, but it does not seem that there is currently an definitive answer as to how much magma must occupy the tile. So, we will open our magma bridge, and when the magma floods in to solve this dilemma, we will single step it while the level builds up on a minecart we monitor. At which point we should be able to tell when it moves from 2 of 7 to 3 of 7, or from 3 of 7 to 4 of 7, exactly how much magma is required. And then we have not only an example, but video evidence we could theoretically post to the wiki. Not mad science, just informational science. Expanding the frontiers of dwarven knowledge, one stupid experiment at a time. If not for dwarven science, we would not know that wild dogs do not make good babysitters. Someone had to try it, guys. For real. Many replacements were sought for the ages-old training rooms of yore, with their training spears on repeat. And to be fair, making all your dwarves instantly legendary was perhaps maybe not intended.
Can't do it. No, 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 no. No. I shall now name my item. I will name you after that guy who did that thing way back when.
Can't do that there.
7. That's 7 seed levels. So, let's look here. If we had no evaporation, we'd get about 2, 3, 4, about 8 would fill this thing. And keep in mind it's 7 of 7, so we get some spread on top of that.
Item now has a name.
Ah, the smoother has finished this row almost. Once we're done here, I can trench this out, and the archery range on this side will be complete. We need to do the same thing up top, and the reason we need the double trench is to eliminate these broken bolts that we were getting because we're hitting the wall early and landing on this instead of landing on an empty trench. To be fair, this particular trick we're using here probably isn't an intended mechanism, but as exploits go, this one is pretty marginal. And it works that way, so... Chopper Squad is now legendary. The Surviving Smashers are all legendary. The Stabber Squad is rapidly approaching legendary. When I say legendary here, I mean capped legendary, not just reaching it. So we got to get some new blood in the Smasher Squad. And then we've got a full roster again. Okay. And no good hammer dwarves, but...
You see what I did?
we'll assign them to the militia. They can join their brethren in the training facility, if that's where we are this month. So much smoothing to be done here. I wish I'd remembered I'd ordered this. Literally make it an everybody in the fort job, and it's still going to take a while.
It's not enough to just own you. Now I must name you. What to call you? No.
We may actually get to flood that first tree farm at about the same time we get the magma operational, which would be hilarious, wouldn't it? So we're actually going to cheat. We're going to use this as a convenient way to get rid of wooden wheelbarrows, at least some of them. Moving magma-filled minecarts causes wooden wheelbarrows to wear heavily, according to the wiki. So we're going to actually put that premise to use and replace our aging wooden wheelbarrow fleet with iron wheelbarrows.
I can't do that there. It won't work.
This forge is entirely too far down here, and I suspect the same guy has been given the same jobs over and over again, resulting in him being the only one to run down here 150 floors over and over again to assemble one item. It's just the dead bodies. There's nothing I can do about it. I want to know where the body is, though. Although, come to think of it, that might very well be that stupid corpse at the base of the damn thing, because I bet they can see it from the stairs, can't they? Yep, probably. He comes down here, he makes an item, he runs upstairs, he shouts at the mayor. He runs down here, he makes an item, he runs upstairs and shouts at the mayor. If I could just build him a temple halfway along that path somewhere, he'd be in bliss. Wagons have bypass. What? 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 No. What? No. Seriously? What's up with that? Okay. So, wall, ramp, 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 wall, wall, wall. That's a set. They can go up that. So go up one. Ramp, 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 wall, wall, wall. Well, since I know that needs to be done anyway, we're going to go ahead and do it. But now I'm confused. Ah, but I'm figuring it out in a real damned hurry now, ain't I? Yep, yep, that's our problem. Somebody suspended that fucking thing, and I didn't even catch the notification. I'll bet there's one down here, too. Nope, that one says it's okay, huh? Upward slope, ramp. It's just a blueprint. There's our problem. Didn't realize we had one of these canceled. Gone past it 100 times and I hadn't even noticed. Didn't check my wagon path.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
That would explain part of the reason why we haven't been getting such large caravans. But we can fix that. Oh yes, yes we can. In retrospect, if I was doing this design over again, I would flip the tables and chairs on this upper and lower row. Since we're going to have the ability to do it again in glass or metal, we may be able to do that.
No.
totally wasn't elected. You totally didn't see that. He makes a good broker, but I'm not giving him the office. Old Logum has been soaking up the complaints and has not beefed once. He can stay. He only asks me for buckets and amulets. He can stay.
It won't work.
Maybe that's an instance of better the devil you know, but I'm okay with it.
Why do you think I can do this?
I can't do it. I just can't.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
Well, we're about 3/4 done on most of these, it looks like.
I can't do that there. Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no.
Somebody's got to do it. I don't care who it is. I
Yes,
want
do it, but
my
no,
bridge.
it won't work. It won't work. Yes,
Ugh.
do it, but no, it won't work.
On second thought, with the new gem, or with the newer, I guess I should say at this point, newer, the jamming of weapon traps, I'm not sure I want glass used this way, even though I could.
Oh, no way.
Alright, get that squad filled out as well. What's funny is as I recall, we didn't pick anybody who didn't have military skill for our militia at any point. And all of a sudden we've got a guy in the military who doesn't like being in physical confrontations.
No, I can't do it. Why do you think I can do this? No, I can't do it. It won't work. Yes, I'll do it, but no, it won't work. Why do you think I can do this? No. Oh, no way.
Sir, you can't do that there. I can't do that there.
I can't do it. No. It won't work. Another dwarf has got an idea. Best get the dogs out and assign it to him in case he goes mad. No. I said no. I can't do it.
I can't do that there.
You there. I'm building an artifact. Give me the workshop.
But I was just about to...
Give me the workshop.
But...
Give it to me.
But...
Give it to me.
Okay.
We're going to be ending on time tonight, guys. Slowly but steadily, the dwarf count in the OK category continues to be pushed up and up and up.
No, 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 no. No.
A better design, faster, might have helped us get this up quicker. It occurs to me that rather than try to designate separate rooms for guild halls and temples, and most of that stuff should just be right in the stack, with the exception of possibly the public spaces, which need to be separated by traps and similar things, right? Even the things which need to be sealed up, like pasture spaces. If I had a 31 by 31 circle like this on the circle, I could have excavated it out open to the surface in the soil layer. The second soil layer is underground crops and more pasture space. Third layer, again down, you can do raw food. Or workshops, and then raw food below that if you
No,
want.
I can't do it.
I need to sit down and get myself a nice plan for our layout in terms of what floors need to be adjacent to what, how much storage space I need in terms of floors by type.
see what I did with this thing.
I haven't seen him start yet. Claimed his workshop. Okay, he's just fetching more ingredients from topside. Oh good, the smoothing on the bedrooms is finally done. Now I can disable that for everybody.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
Here's what I don't get. These guys are badly distracted because they can't get their prey on. Alright, fine.
Do it.
But they're not in the militia right now. They have no job. Why aren't they getting their preying done if they're so badly distracted?
No.
Man, he must still be off and about gathering ingredients. He stole that guy's bone right out of his workshop.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
Oh, no way. I do think I can do this.
I'm going to name this something bizarre and unworldly. Something that no one else would name it. Ha ha.
And we're still hauling bars.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it. Sir, you can't do that there.
Och, I won't do it.
All right, and he's got his artifact done.
Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no. I can't do that there.
I know it can't possibly be the case, and yet I would swear that this thing fills faster and faster the higher it gets. So our engraver will come along and get this engraved for us, and should be able to get our value up enough to get us a grand guild hall in the bargain.
It won't work.
Of course he's gone to sleep.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. I just can't.
Yeah, I don't think I really care at the moment. That's cool with me. I was thinking about putting a tunnel entrance off there to mine some of the coal in this lair, but worry about that later. I can always take the wall back down.
I can't do it. I just can't.
I can't do that there.
still working on it. It's just a long way.
It won't work. Oh, I won't do it.
Sir, you can't do it like that.
Not a lot of what are you doing? He's the guy building my bridge? Seriously? Ugh. Talk about comedy of errors. The guy building the bridge at the bottom of the world is the same guy I want to be doing the engraving to make my grand guild hall upstairs. Dwarf Fortress doesn't need a hostile AI to make its stories. It really doesn't.
Can't do that there.
No, 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 no. No!
Speaking of hostile AIs, anybody keeping an eye on that System Shock remake that they're planning? In development, I should say.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
Who was it? So they did a re-release recently of the original System Shock. They call it the Enhanced Edition. It adds like mouse look and some other stuff. It's actually playable, believe it or not. I actually tinkered with it the other day and I could actually play it without feeling like I was trying to alienate my own brain. But they're doing a remake of the original System Shock that's not with the original graphics and, you know, the old pixelated face displays and that kind of stuff. I saw a review of it. If you're curious and you weren't already aware, you can go out there on YouTube. There's a guy, Mandalore Gaming, did a review of the System Shock Enhanced Edition, which is the re-release of the original. But they're actually, the same group is also doing a remake that they're trying to do that's, you know, modern graphics, faithful to the original kind of thing.
I can't do that there.
But the Enhanced Edition is actually playable, surprisingly enough. Despite its age, it holds up reasonably well. I mean, it's still period-based. I mean, you're gonna look at it and go, yeah, this is kind of like an old school Doom with a, or Doom or Wolfenstein with a inventory overlay in a way, but it actually holds up reasonably well in the sense that you can actually use a modern control style to play with it. unseeing eye knows all, tells little. I realized I'm going to have to go back and I'm going to have to do the same thing with this one. I'm going to have to go back and edit my past couple of videos because they all say like day 12 or day 10. I keep forgetting to change the stream info. I'm going to have to figure out which ones are which and number them properly. Get the links back up.
I just can't.
And they're still bringing us iron mine carts, which is good. You know, they can keep socking them away in here. Let's see if we've got them all. We did all the jobs already. Oop, other way. Yeah, how many mine carts did I ask for? Sorry, I had to find it in the list. I really did. It took me a minute. Okay. 5 of 20, so they've got a few left, but they're almost done. Okay. They can just run those jobs until they run out of ore and then cancel them automatically for me.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it. Come on, Valdemar, get our bridge done.
Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no.
Actually, it's not really going to be him we're waiting on at this point. I think he's put in all of the iron bars. We're just going to wait on him to finish designing the giant thing, and then we got to wait on somebody to build it. And the somebody to build it will actually be somebody else. Yep, now he's got to haul all the boulders of gold off the bridge.
No. I said no.
And then he starves to death on his way back. Sacrificed so that we could in vain build in pure vanity build a mine or build a magma industry at the surface. Come on, Valdemar, heave that gold boulder. Gold nuggets, it says. It's definitely not nuggets if you're straining like that to move it. To be honest, the reality is normally I wouldn't have, like I said, I would probably not have bothered with a fortress this deep. I would have taken one look at it 150 Z levels down and said, I'll regenerate another world. But it can be made to work. It's just annoyingly deep. We will make it work.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir. No. I said no. Oh, I won't do it. Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no. No.
So what do you think, Clinidev? Reanimating evil still not much fun in this version? Same basic problems? Generated a flux mountain with iron and coal veins sitting over cavern 1 magma. Hallelujah! Hallelujah! Yeah, that's pretty much that. You know, that with a volcano topper probably would have been just about all of it. Tell me it had a nice aquifer to go along with the rest, and you're just about set. You could basically build yourself an obsidian caster on, like, day one. We're going to build Barad-dûr today, kids. Regenerate the world with 200 Z levels above ground and build a giant Sauron tower. And the last gold boulder has been removed. And the bridge has now been designed and Valdemar is done. He may now go forth and have booze. It might be worth poking at that one with reveal just to take a look and see where the adamantine comes up to. A sight like that, it might be worth demonstrating. You can. I can get on-demand Necromancer sieges? I mean, I wouldn't do it in the current version because the Necromancers can walk into your fort bug, but if the ability exists, it ain't going away. What do I have to do? Take in a hopeless migrant and send them to make demands in the local Necromancer tower? And the mason has begun his work.
Sir, I hate saying no to you, but
The
no.
bridge is nearly complete. And I'm pretty sure that's a mechanism sitting there, so we might get away with having this done pretty quickly at this point, because I think there was a mechanism in the existing bridge, but I'm suspicious that it won't use this one. It'll use another one. We'll end up with a spare one down here that just gets melted.
I'm going to name this something bizarre and unworldly. Something that no one else would name it.
I can't do it. No, 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 no. No.
Well, it hasn't progressed that far. I've bridge baited one already, of course, but we do have, I suspect, let's see, 2 days travel, they're at war with us. That's what I thought. So theoretically, anybody I exiled, quote, quote, sent to raid with no arms and armor, the Dark Goblin Fortress would end up just as miserable over there, only they wouldn't be our problem anymore. Been holding off on that. When they slip down from this category to that category, and it's not something that I could have prevented, then we're going to have a problem. When they complain that they can't pray, and they complain that they can't do military, and they complain that they haven't done a craft skill all at the same time, there's no way that they're doing so much that they can't do all that. Hauling is the least prioritized job.
Sir, you can't do that, Dad.
Although maybe it's not. Maybe that's the problem. I'd have to look. Maybe maybe the social stuff like academic thinking and trips to the temple are actually lower priority than hauling. I would think I had enough haulers, but maybe I don't. In the old fortress, I would have had many, many more than this. A handful, just a bare handful of crafts dwarves, and giant numbers of haulers to haul away all the stuff.
Why'd you think I can do this?
You didn't hear me say this, Clinidev, but I have to admit, I think I'm starting to warm to the idea of quantum stockpiles.
Oh, no way.
I'm not big on them realistically normally, but
I can't do that there.
It won't work.
after he gets it built, we can get it linked. Just a little longer now, I hope. Perfect.
Sir, you can't do that there.
It won't work.
Well, I mean, I don't like them, but at the same time, it's one of those things where storage space, if you look at how this is laid out, isn't as much of this particular floor as it is on a lot of my others. But once you start getting into this is an entire stockpile floor. Bins help, but even with bins over time, this is going to just chew up enormous amounts of clothing. I might want to check just to make sure that we had a caravan when I wasn't looking. I still think we've got a problem with that ramp that we need to check on, make sure they finished it.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
There we go. Now we should have, yes. Not sure how that job got canceled so long ago.
It won't work.
I have to admit, I want to see bug fixes, but I also want to see magic added. The alchemy skill has been out there tempting us in Dwarf Therapist for years. Years. Tell me I get to add dwarven fireball slingers to my archer brigade. That's all I'm asking. Tell me we'll be able to fire lightning bolts through the fortifications. While Excuse me, a bit of my drink down the wrong pipe. While we're dreaming, I'd like to see siege engines rewritten to be able to target better. Not saying I want them to be target sized accurate, but there's a cage there. Something is in that cage. Did somebody pass out in a cage? I wonder if that's what's happened. Some moron has passed out in the cage and let himself get whacked by starvation, presumably. Probably should have set an animal stockpile up a long time ago, but that's okay. Except for that one ewe, we've been letting everybody out that needed it.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
Uh-oh. Somebody donated. Thank you, Tom. Rick, you got a preference on your dwarf skills, or... The leopards are breeding. The war leopard program is on. Right on, Tomrick. Hang on a second, I'll get you one. You are now immortalized. You too could die in this fortress. The truth is, however, it's unlikely unless you're in the military or we get badly, badly ambushed. This little thing, when it's done, is going to be an invader spotting device. Stealthy invaders may attempt to enter the fortress. If they do, when they pass under this, a bird or similar non-grazing animal stuck behind this window set here, wandering back and forth, or put on a chain right in the middle, will spot invaders as they walk below, seeing them through the window and below as this goes down. That will allow us to spot people if they attempt to sneak in. Alright, give me a second here and I'll get this bridge linked up.
I can't do it.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
Oh, sorry about that. I had to grab something to drink. I was getting a little parched. Okay, now we'll get that bridge linked up and we can start filling mine carts. How many do we have now? Let's say we do 6 deep. That's 3, 3. That's 3 there. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 holes we could fill. Lovely.
I can't do that there.
That must have been a dust up, some sort of brawl or something. I missed somebody tantruming maybe when I wasn't looking. No, Valdemar's going absolutely ripshit on the masterpieces in the guild hall, though. You can stop now, dude. They don't need a guild that pretty. Nice. 25,000 and climbing. He's not even done yet.
I can't do that there. I can't do it. I just can't.
No, I can't do it. Sir, I hate saying no to you, but no.
Well, the crafting is going well. Someone is on the way to link our bridge so we can get the magma forges started. Although we probably won't get the evaporation tonight unless doesn't take very much magma to fill them. It only takes 3 of 7. We might get that fairly quickly.
Autumn is here.
To the sides for evaporation immediately. It's just one of those hindsight things as you're thinking through how you would redo this design in the future. Smaller, more compact, more efficient, less stone to dig out, better throughput in your magma flow.
I can't do it. I just can't.
Do it work?
Get 3 of the Z levels at the bottom where magma is, which we really didn't get here, but 1 more. If we were over here, for example, on the right-hand side where this big stone column is,
No.
we could have easily excavated out a bottom layer where there was a drain set up, a middle layer where the mine carts were stockpiled, an upper layer where there was magma, and a mine cart and a sprinkler system between the upper and middle, with a flow through some fortifications or grates, perhaps, down into the lower level where you could crush the magma immediately out of existence with a bridge. At that point, as long as you don't have the mine carts ending up in the drain, you've got everything you need in an area with a smaller footprint than this, with better magma flow than we have crudely engineered here.
right, you think I can do this?
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
But remember, the entire point is do the design, think of a better way. Do the design again, think of a better way. Make a mistake 3 times in the first design. Make 2 mistakes in the second design.
Sir, you can't do that there.
Most improvement is iterative. So it is here. We are now filling the 10th Z level vertically of water in the reservoir. There are only 11 possible, and then it starts into the aquifer itself. So this is pretty much a good point to drop it. 10 of those things should more than fill the Sorry, I wanted to make sure I remembered which lever was which, and I had forgotten what what some of those levers were, and wanted to make sure I had the right one. Hence, leaving notes to myself. With DF Hack, I can always check them by visiting each lever's associated mechanisms. And there's the flood. What evaporation? What? That's probably enough to get us all the way across the room and then some right there. Okay. Maybe even a little more than I really needed by far. Okay, maybe a lot more than I needed by far.
Oh, no way.
But all of this water is useful unless it evaporates. We can drain it all off into the other reservoir.
No.
Now you don't need this much water. A sprinkler system would have been far more efficient. You build a bunch of hatches, you link them all to one lever, you fill one layer of water, you pull the lever, one layer of water just floods out all over the floor at once, you're done. The end. Close the sprinkler, you never need it again. But this we can use for drainage. We have a little flooding here because we actually pumped more water into this system than we normally would have under any circumstances, so some of it is draining back into the hallway here. Don't believe it will actually constitute a flooding problem. I think at this point the flooding will start to reverse. Yeah, so we got 7 of 7 across the entire area here, and is just going to start draining away as the river picks it up. Down here, we'll fill up the second reservoir for us, so that's bonus for us. We repeat the same process with the second reservoir, which may take some more of that water than we did the last time because of this additional floodplain we have to fill.
Say no to you, but no.
But I don't think that's a problem. I think that's easily doable. If I had to do that over again, what I would do instead of digging this where I did is I would dig it like this, dig down right here like this, just like this, only I would, instead of this, spread it out across here. Let it all go across one row, and then on underneath, below this, obviously, at this point, so maybe 2 levels down, we would dig the reservoir here instead, and that way when we got all the way down here,
No.
we don't have this floodplain that we've got to deal with. I don't think it'll be a problem once we get the reservoir full, but it'll take us a minute to get there. Longer, probably, than it took to get the first one. And in the meantime, the first one is going to be, well, pretty much out of commission since it's completely flooded at the moment.
I can't do it.
We got the throughput to avoid evaporation, we did. A clever monkey would have designed a system that had a sort of a sweep arm here in a sense that allowed more or less water out of the
I can't do that there.
reservoir to spread into these different areas. With it as deep as it is, because it is a level above this water will effectively kind of teleport into space as it gets down here as fast as it can to this,
No.
all the way up to where this pressure regulator is.
Ugh, I won't do it.
We could have spread it out even further and then had it something we closed off once we had all the flow we needed. Because we'd like the rivers to look like they're full, even though I'm not necessarily sure we'll be able to maintain that. We'll see. And it looks like I'm going to have to do something with the flooding down here, which is unfortunate.
No.
Not a major problem. It's not so deep that I can't do anything about it. The simplest way is just to dig some more space out and let it spread out a little further and it'll evaporate again. Now, if it was getting to where it was 3s and 4s instead of 2s and 3s, then you start to run into the problem of your miners having to cancel the job because they can't swim and dig at the same time. Now, this should be a dwarven caravan, and they are not skipping our wagon depot. Most excellent. Bring out the trap components. Let's see. Let's bring out some instruments. thinking I need to look at our job for instruments because it's making a lot of cattles. That's probably more than enough, and if we need more, we'll get it. Come into... Oh, wait. We don't need him yet. Oh, no, he's not. That's a different guy. Good. Carry on, sir. Carry on. Maybe for our next fort, I ought to design the entire thing as much as I can on stream. We can talk through exactly what floors should be what in the design. Maybe not quite Twitch plays, but Twitch suggests maybe. Twitch brainstorms.
Oh, no way.
Poisonous gas. Boy, that'd be nasty if we were going anywhere near it.
Sorry, sir, I can't do it.
Just realized our broker isn't necessarily the one trading because apparently I hit anybody could do it at some point. Forgot to turn it off. Probably should fix that. Somebody got a lot of broker experience last time, so we now have a junior apprentice broker out there floating around. I'll take it. Especially because I think our broker just arrived and I think he is drunk. Oh, no, that ain't him. Good. Ooh. Two wagons? You only brought me 2 wagons? Send the rest of the bins back, boys. This'll be enough. Trade goods haulers have to make their way through the sparring at this point, I'm sure, plus all the tavern dancing that might conceivably get in the way. Jurist McHauler has improved his dodging skill. 0. not there
I hate
yet.
saying no to you, but no.
Whoops! Not wood, not in this environment. No, not in a taiga. Got plenty of trees, more than I'll ever use. Tree farm is vanity. And maybe a little demonstration, but mostly vanity. Rings is doable. Earrings is doable. Oh, they're still unloading.
I'm giving you a name.
Another idea occurs to me that should have been adopted that was, or that should not have been adopted that was. I don't need pressure regulation on the outflow of the upper Park River. This pressure regulator here is doing me no good because at the end of the day, all it's doing is slowing the flow. When I want this thing filled as fast as possible, and filling up to this level at full rate is great. There's no flood danger over here that I would need to put the pressure regulator on. When it falls to down here anyway, I have to put another pressure regulator on it anyway if I wanted to prevent its flow from going above here. So that's where that pressure regulator should be, is at the intakes of the rivers, not at the outflows. Got carried away. It might make sense to have it at the outflow of the terminal river in order to reduce flow and thereby kind of back the system up a little bit, increasing the amount of water it's constantly got in it. Yeah, I'd say we can probably buy out the caravan. Ooh, I know what they need to bring. I wish there was... Ah, there is. I don't want to include anything that's in anybody's inventory. All of this is all worn clothing that was owned, but nobody owns it. Nobody's wearing it. So it's just sitting around. It's nice that it's finally crafted and all, but it's just sitting around, worn, going to waste. So let's get rid of it all. Let's chuck it out the door. If nobody's wearing it and it's just worn clothing floating around the fortress, look at it all. We can hit Shift T. Okay, how do we select? It won't sell the owned items, presumably because somebody's storing them somewhere for us and we don't have to worry about it.
Sorry, I can't do it, sir.
That should produce a flurry of clothing off to the trader. And assuming this bridge works, we're ready to fill minecarts. At last. Which means that we'll actually be ready to use them next time. Ah!
Sad. You can't do that there.
Because it is almost 11 o'clock and I've already run over my time already. So, here's what we're going to do before we go. I'm going to see what other poor sap might be out there in Dwarf Fortress land. And I'm going to sick you wonderful, surly little viewers upon him, or her, or it, as the case may be. Yes. You guys want to do adventure mode this time?